In Elden Ring, the night becomes a canvas for storytelling. It's not just a convenient backdrop for spooky events, it's a deliberate narrative device. As the moonlight bathes the landscapes, a detailed and nuanced story unfurls, weaving threads of mystery and suspense. Much like the carefully crafted map, the passage of time in Elden Ring is a storytelling tool, revealing secrets and nuances that escape the casual observer. So, in the mysterious land of Elden Ring, Nightfall isn't merely a time for spooky happenings. It's a crucial chapter in a grand, atmospheric saga, inviting players to explore the depths of their fears and unravel the intricate layers of Miyazaki's storytelling mastery. Before creating a theory rooted in human psychology, it might have been easy to accept the notion that nighttime in Elden Ring simply serves as the stage for eerie happenings. However, we all sense that there's a deeper layer to the story unfolding in the lands between at night. Now, if you're skeptical about this, I encourage you to pause here. Although this video is concise, it plunges into profound depths. So the question is, will you take the red pill and embark on this intriguing journey, or the blue pill and bury your head in item descriptions? The choice is yours, but if you take the journey with me, you won't see the game the same as before. If you're new to this theory, you may want to check out my previous videos as they lay the groundwork in understanding the psychological thriller that is Elden Ring. Although I would love for you to go watch those videos all the way through, like them all, comment, subscribe, and make me YouTube famous, I'm not going to make you do that. Instead, I will quickly catch you up to speed. This theory centers around the idea that the events of the game are all happening inside Marika's psyche. Now that's a really hard concept to understand, so let me put it another way. It's no secret that alchemy is a huge theme in the game, and so I'll use that to better explain this idea. The magnum opus is the great work of the alchemist, in which the end goal is the lapis philosophorum, the pure gold, the philosopher's stone, the elixir vitae, the immortal, the son of the philosopher, etc. At its core, it's a process of transformation by uniting the opposites and marrying them together to form something that is more than the sum of its parts. Well, that whole process occurs in the alchemist's flasks, or alembic to be more precise. The multiple processes of the magnum opus occur within this one vessel. There are thousands of books, processes, and mind-bending illustrations of the magnum opus, but the truth is that everything takes place inside that one flask. These texts and illustrations help bring to life what is happening inside the flask, just as the events and characters help bring to life what is happening in Marika's psyche. To my knowledge, the alchemists never achieved this goal in the flask, but rather their teachings became more of a philosophical, spiritual, and psychological journey that the alchemists took rather than the material stone. Carl Jung connected these alchemical processes to psychology and coined the term individuation. Individuation is the uniting of the opposites, finding our inner gold and inner God, making the unconscious conscious, where the end goal is this inner unity and wholeness that too is larger than the sum of its parts. What the flask is to the alchemist, the human psyche is to the psychologist. That is to say that the alchemical process of the magnum opus took place in one flask. Individuation takes place in a person's psyche. That person is Marika. The process and outcome is just as remarkable. It's just that the medium it occurs in is different. Think about it this way. Marika is made of stone, and we are bringing the scattered pieces of the Elden Ring back into its vessel. The philosopher's stone is, at the beginning, a crude stone, and the alchemist unites the opposites within the stone to make it divine. So, the philosopher's stone is a crude stone with this metaphysical property inside to make it divine. Marika is made of stone with this metaphysical property to make her divine. See, they are one and the same, it's just that one happens in the flask and the other happens in the mind. This video is not about the process of individuation, but hopefully this analogy helps understand where the events of this game take place. Now, there's a ton more to it, but for today's video, understanding that this is all taking place inside Marika's psyche is incredibly important, because Marika is the subject matter of this game. She's telling her story through the events of this game, just as the elusive pictures and symbols tell the story of the magnum opus. Recognizing that we are delving into the intricate depths of Marika's psyche becomes paramount due to the parallelism of the day and night cycle with our own waking and sleeping patterns. This deliberate mirroring of these temporal rhythms, where daylight signifies wakefulness, akin to our daily reality, and night corresponds not only to the sleep, but also to the realm of dreams, establishes a profound connection between the narrative and our shared human experience. Quote, dreams are impartial, spontaneous products of the unconscious psyche, outside of the control of the will. They are pure in nature. They show us the unvarnished natural truth, and therefore fitted, as nothing else is, to give us back an attitude that accords with our basic human nature when our consciousness has strayed too far from its foundations and runs into an impasse. End quote. Within the intricate tapestry of the human psyche lies a fundamental duality, the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious realm is a mosaic of deliberate awareness, housing unrepressed memories, societal approved personas, and all that resides above the surface. The facets deemed acceptable by both individual and society. It serves as the illuminated stage where one navigates the known, a realm where the ego and societal norms converge. Yet, beneath this golden illusion lies the profound depths of the unconscious. Here, the rejected, the repressed, and the feared aspects of the self find their abode. It becomes a vast repository, a shadowy realm, where the echoes of trauma, the haunting images of terrible memories, and the suppressed fragments of one's existence linger in obscurity. The unconscious is the repository of all that is shunned, a subterranean labyrinth where the unspoken, the feared, and the denied aspects of the human experience reside. In the realm of Marika's psyche, where she assumes the role of a divine entity, the unfolding narrative is a tapestry woven from the threads of both her conscious and unconscious realms. Deciphering Marika's conscious is a journey through the visible facets of the game, a narrative that embodies order, the symbolic Erd tree, the essence of life, of faith, and the golden hues of grace. These elements collectively compose the structured landscape she deems acceptable and embraces as a manifestation of divine order. However, within the depths of this divine consciousness, there exists an intricate dance between acceptance and rejection. The elements relegated to the shadows, obscured from the direct gaze of her conscious mind and of the Erd tree, find refuge in the realms of the unconscious. It is in these hidden recesses that the complexities of Marika's being come to light, unveiling the unspoken, the less accepted, and the aspects that she consciously chooses to keep at bay. In navigating Marika's psyche, players traverse the delicate interplay between the acknowledged and the concealed, witnessing the harmonious and discordant notes that compose the symphony of her divine consciousness. The conscious mind serves as the illuminated stage, while the unconscious holds the mysteries that add depth and complexity to the narrative, inviting players to explore the multifaceted layers of Marika's godlike existence. The Knight's Cavalry, Deathbirds, and Bell-Bearing Hunter, and the lands between, all share a common thread, the pervasive theme of death that unfolds particularly under the cover of night. Each of these entities, in their own unique ways, embodies aspects of mortality, the afterlife, and the rituals associated with death. The Knight's Cavalry, once led by the Fellowmen, serves as deliverers of death for great warriors, knights, and champions. Riding funeral steeds through the dim roads at night, they manifest the essence of mortality and the inevitable end that befalls even the mightiest. Deathbirds, graveyard firekeepers, rake out the ashen remains of the dead from their kilns. Adorned with talismans used in ancient death rituals, they are linked to delicate dance between life and death. The sacrificial axe, twin-bird kite shield, and death ritual spear further underscore their connection to death-related rites in the spiritual realm. Elmer of the Briar, the bell-bearing hunter, adds another layer to this theme. Clad in battered iron helm marked by rusted iron briars, Elmer embodies the guilt and impending doom associated with death. His stolen sword from House Marias connects the executioners in the death-related history in the Shaded Castle. The shared emphasis on death among these entities raises the question of why this theme intensifies at night in the lands between. Night, traditionally associated with mystery, the unconscious, and the unknown, becomes the canvas upon which the theme of death is painted. This theme of death permeates the lands between specifically at night, but why? In the lands between, where the Knight's Cavalry, Deathbirds, and Bell-bearing Hunter embody the thematic essence of death, their nocturnal activities intertwine with the realm of dreams and unconscious. Night, the backdrop upon which this narrative unfolds, becomes a portal connecting the conscious and the uncharted territories of the mind. The night, when these entities manifest, serves as a metaphorical bridge between the waking world and the unconscious. It is during the night that the boundaries blur, and the symbolism of death and dreams converges, offering a glimpse into the intricate dance between Marika's conscious awareness and the hidden recesses of the mind within Elden Ring. Marika's profound aversion to and repression of death adds a poignant layer to her character, elevating the narrative within the recesses of her psyche. The use of her shadow as a repository for the very concept of death underscores the depth of her fear, going beyond spatial confinement and extending into the intricate folds of time itself. The act of storing the fear of death in the shadow hints at the unbalance between the conscious and unconscious within Marika's mind. The shadow, acting as a receptacle for her deepest fears, become a reservoir of existential dread that transcends the boundaries of the immediate present, hinting at a long-standing and persistent struggle with mortality. We see this unbalanced psyche come to the screen in the various statues of Marika. In her early campaign as a god, she is consumed with life and rejects the very thought of death. Look at the statues of Marika, which bring the player back to life. Her hair is braided only on one side of her, brilliantly showing this unbalanced inner world. As Marika embraces more and more of herself, i.e. her animus Radigan, the hair miraculously starts a second braid on the other half of her body. Now, this braid is not nearly as long as her other one, but it shows the beginnings of this union of her conscious and unconscious. Once both braids are equal, her process of individuation, her magnum opus, will be complete. All she has left to do is integrate her shadow, which we will undoubtedly see in the DLC. Quote, dreams prepare, announce, or warn about certain situations, often long before they actually happen. This is not necessarily a miracle or a precognition. Most crises or dangerous situations have a long incubation. Only the conscious mind is not aware of it. Dreams can betray the secret. As mentioned at the outset of this video, the day-night cycle in Elden Ring directly mirrors our very own wake-sleep cycle. Nighttime, when we dream, serves as a threshold between the conscious and unconscious realms, where repressed elements come to life. This battle between the conscious and unconscious is evident throughout the lands between. It's present in the struggles between the enslaved, downtrodden misbegottens and the soldiers of Castle Morn. The conflict extends to the capital with the War of the Dragons, where dragons, symbolic of the unconscious, attack a giant tree, symbolic of conscious. The overarching theme is clear. The unconscious, if repressed, will inevitably find a way to manifest itself. This dynamic plays out across the landscapes of Elden Ring, creating a rich world where the conscious and unconscious engage in a continual dance, shaping the narrative and unraveling the mysteries within the game. Dreams are the domain of the unconscious. It doesn't matter how deep down Marika represses these aspects of her psyche, they come out at night in her nightmares. The next logical step is to delve into why Marika harbors such a fear of death in the first place. Exploring this fear may provide insights into the events that led to the fracturing of the Elden Ring. Notably, Marika plucks out the Rune of Death long before the Night of the Black Knives, indicating that this fear predates the death of her psychological ego child, Godwin. The investigation takes us to the statue Endgame that undergoes a transformation, originally depicting a family together, but later evolving into a clear split between mother-child on one side and the father on the other. In previous videos, I explained that Fair Missoula represents Marika's childhood, with scattered pieces of the structure throughout the lands between, signifying how childhood memories and traumas shape one's psyche. Childhood experiences have a profound impact on every decision an individual makes. I'm suggesting that the statue might be narrating the story of Marika's father's premature death when she was very young. This potential loss could be connected to the god Placidussex is waiting to return, but never will. The Rune of Death, plucked by Marika upon reaching adulthood, could be a manifestation of her attempt to grapple with this early trauma. I understand that's a giant assumption to make, and that there is a huge lack of evidence, but remember, the Shadow of the Erdtree will undoubtedly be about Marika facing her darker, suppressed side, where these past traumas will finally come to fruition. One small piece of evidence comes from the artwork of the funeral carriage itself. Although intentionally obscure, you can clearly make out the same crown worn by the king from the Fair Missoula statue. We will take a deeper dive on this discovery in a later video, but why else would they put a statue of family in Fair Missoula? And then that same family bifurcated. Why would they make the only discernible item on the hearse the crown that king was wearing? Whether it's this potential loss of her father or some other traumatic event, something happened to Marika in her childhood that ended with her becoming the vessel of the greater will. Look at all the other vessels of the outer gods. They are all under severe psychological distress, resulting in this all-or-nothing mentality, associated with the very fabric of the outer gods. This possession, this psychosis, is a very common result of a trauma, especially an unresolved trauma. Whatever this childhood trauma was, it is more than likely a catalyst that causes Marika to seal away the Rune of Death back in her childhood home, an island of memories. However, the reason for the shattering of the Elden Ring goes beyond Marika's initial repression of the concept of death. I believe that the ultimate trigger for this cataclysmic event was the death of Marika's real-life child, Ranni. Clues in games such as the location of Ranni's dead body on the map being at the end of the umbilical cord, the overall map structure being an infant, the Harpies' lamenting song describing how they were supposed to be mothers and now they weep, the condition of Rennala and the themes surrounding her, and so much more all point to the profound impact of this tragedy. The themes of child death, stillborn, barrenness saturate the narrative of the lands between. Again, this video is about why death comes to Marika in her dreams, not the backstory, so I'll leave it there, but a future video covering this topic will dive into this thought. Another bit of evidence comes to us via Ranni herself. Have you ever noticed that she visits the player for the first time only at night? Meaning Ranni herself is haunting Marika in her dreams. This is because Ranni is the reason for these nightmares of death. These funeral steeds and death birds coming to Marika in her slumber were all preludes to the Night of the Black Knives. Remember this quote: "Dreams prepare, announce, or warn about certain situations, often long before they actually happen." Ranni is the dark unconscious void seeping into the waking world of conscious light. Just as the Misbegottens attacked the soldiers of Castle Morn, and the dragons attacked the Erdtree, the Shadow attacked the ego. This attack is the prologue of the magnum opus of individuation. This negredo, this mortificatio, this death of the ego is the spark that ignites the fires of the shattering. Marika suppresses death from a very young age. It even became a vessel for an outer god, and yet it found its way back into the forefront of Marika's life. This tragic event serves as a turning point, pushing Marika to shatter the Elden Ring as a response to the recurrence of death in her life. My guess is that the DLC will provide an opportunity for Marika to confront these past traumas, potentially offering a deeper understanding of her actions and the intricate psychological landscape within Elden Ring. The day-night cycle of Elden Ring might just seem like an added feature that further immerses the player in the world, and although it does do that, it goes much deeper. It's another opportunity for Miyazaki to tell the story, to peek behind the veil of Marika's consciousness, and see what lies beyond. Just as you and I dream about our suppressed unconscious, whether it's a dream about a lie we told, a task we are ignoring, a past trauma we turn a blind eye to, so too does Marika. Marika is just a person going through some shit, and these nightmares of death haunt her every single night. And there's a reason why. And although we only have breadcrumbs to follow, the real reason will be illuminated in the DLC.